Okay, yay. Happy Monday, everybody. Super excited. We're doing this fun thing in 2025 where we're going to have a diamond or a jewel guest speaker hop on our first Monday night call of each month. And you guys are going to love tonight's guest speaker. It's Andrea. She's a really good friend of mine. All those amazing graphics that I share with you guys in our chat, a lot of you are in her group. She's the one behind it all. She makes those gorgeous graphics that we all use every single month. The rank graphics, all the rank graphics, mind is going blank. The fast start silver, like the what you can earn this month, all those ones, like so beautiful. She just had her fourth baby. We have babies right next to each other. Our fourth, we each had our fourth. Like we have so many similar things. It's really funny. Our story, like we connected. I don't remember how did we connect? Through Jordan, maybe? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think no, we met. Well, we like met at la what at the Diamond meeting in Hawaii.
That's right. Yes, in Hawaii. Okay, I was like, I totally drew a blank there. Um, and then we just connected, and we've been like power partners of sorts, and like brainstorming together. And she's just so much fun to work together. And she has an incredible story. And I have like a set of questions I'm going to ask her, so kind of like interview style. She's a mom of four, like I said, but her oldest is six, you guys. So it's like six and down, four kids, like super mom over there, runs
All
multiple
boys.
businesses. Her husband works full time, right? He's a
Yeah.
lawyer, is that right?
Yep.
Um, yeah, so she is a busy mom, just like most of us are. I mean, even if you're not a mom, I'm sure you're busy in some way, shape, or form. And I love that she has no excuses for getting in, um, for building her business and for her goals. And so, really, really excited from you. Thank you for hopping on and being willing to share with us tonight. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Um, so, the first question I have for you is, how did you even start to share about Plexus? Because you joined for the products, right? You wanted to feel better. So,
Mhm.
what got you to share? Was it something your sponsor said? Was it a post you saw on a team page? Like, what was that?
So actually, it was a good friend who I went to college with, and she kept telling me, like, Andrea, you need Plexus, you need Plexus. She was already taking the products, and she's like, you need it. My mom started it. It's helped me with X, Y, and Z. Obviously, huge skeptic. And I'm like, no, actually, I've tried everything, and it took me forever to hop on, but finally, actually, my mom, who lives with me and is behind me holding Lincoln right now, she was like, my friend called her and she was like, you need to do this. And she was like, well, if Andrew doesn't join, I'll just join underneath you. And I was like, fine, I'll just do it. I had zero, like I literally, we moved up here and I have $4,000 to my name. And I was like, I cannot pull the trigger on 100 and like, I can't remember how much it was back then, like $130. Like I can't do that, but I did because I was like, I don't want my mom doing it with anybody else. So I did it.
Okay, I love that. Yay for moms pushing us to do things. My mom was my
Right.
first person under me too.
Yeah.
Um, well, like, did you just want to get your products paid for? Or like, why did you decide to just go for the business?
Okay, so this is actually really funny too because so my mom, this is my mom again. She's like such a social little butterfly, and so she was just like signing up all of her friends, and I was like, I had like what 10 people underneath me from my mom, and I had like just her. And I remember my sponsor, this is like way back when in 2016, and so she's like, dude, like you need two more people if you want to get this bonus, like blah blah blah. And I'm like dying inside. I'm like, I'm not like gonna reach out to anybody. Like you know how you all felt. So I was like, I told my husband, I was like, you're signing up. And then like my best friend, I was like, you're doing this with me because I need one more person. And so that was my three. And then I went fast start gold. Well, because of her. She's like she had all the people. I had those three. So and then then it just clicked. It just clicked. I remember sitting at this like little diner and my like phone dinged and it was like $1,000 come through and I almost fell over. I was like I looked at my husband. I was like, I just made $1,000. Like I don't even know what I did. Like I didn't do it. Actually I didn't. Like my mom, I was like, this is crazy. Like this is, so she and I just like got together, and I caught the vision because I had student loan debt. Like I said, I only had $4,000 to my name. I was a bartender previously. And so I always kind of lived that lifestyle of just like, I didn't really want anybody to tell me what to do, like just wanted to do whatever, travel, all the things. And I was like, wow, this kind of aligns with what I kind of want to do. And I won't have to work, crazy hours. And so, yeah, that was like the point of when I really saw like the potential, especially the student loans, honestly, was a huge part of that driving factor because I had a ton.
I love that. And I think it's so cool that you started your business before you even had kids, because we have quite a few people here who they're not moms yet. Um, and now like it's gone into now you're a mom of 4 kids, and it's probably, well, I know that it's like the biggest blessing to be able to do this. It's such a flexible thing. I like you, and you're so good at sharing about that in your stories of like nursing your son while you're working. We're kind of like in the same boat.
Yeah.
And so it's just really cool. Like you didn't even know then how it would be blessing your life now as a mom of 4. Um, and it's just, I think, so important to be like, you never know when a plan B might become your plan A kind of thing.
So,
Um,
so true.
okay, next question. You were gold for 11 months, you said. So you went gold in, was it May? And then you were gold
Mhm.
for 11 months.
Yeah.
What's a shift you made in your mindset or action wise at gold that helped you to go senior gold?
So I definitely just I feel like at gold, I always tell my team, I'm like, gold is the hardest rank. Like it is super hard. Like because you get this team and you're like, okay, like I just started these products. Now I have a team. I don't, and you're feeding your mind all of these things. Like I'm not a leader. I'm not a diamond, an emerald, or, whatever. And so you get this, I almost like self-sabotage myself for 11 months. And so I just felt like that. I'm like, okay, like how did I get here? I got here by doing the simple, basic IPA, reaching out. And so I was like, well, why don't I just do that again and stop, stop making this so complicated and start leading my team. And so actually my sponsor, and I, which crazy story, my sponsor actually quit a year into me doing the business. And so I haven't had a sponsor in 8.5 years. Like don't even have like anybody, like my biggest upline or my next upline is 7 levels up. So it's like there's nobody. So you can do this even though you have an amazing, amazing upline, like amazing. So just be grateful for that, right? But I just remember just being like, she was like, let's do team calls. Like you're gonna lead this call. Like I was leading calls at Gold. I was running challenges at Gold. Like, and so I really think that I always tell my team, I'm like, just because you are, and I say, like, people always say, I'm only a silver, I'm only a gold. That doesn't matter. I always tell them, like, you as a gold, you may be a better leader in certain aspects than an actual diamond. Just because we are diamond does not mean we have all of these skills mastered. No, it just means we've screwed up a ton and failed a ton. And we just kept doing it over and over and over until we finally got ticking, right? And so I always like encourage my team, like, step up to the plate, lead a call, offer to do a challenge. Like you're never going to know if you're good at it, or you're never going to feel comfortable if you don't just offer. And here's my biggest advice: just offer to do it, right? Don't wait for your sponsor to come to say, hey, do you want to do this? Just do it. Just say, be like, hey, I can run this IPA challenge, or I can run this team call for you. Do you have anything? Like that was me. I was always like asking. I'm like asking because I was like, I want to get good at this so I can feel confident to lead a team. And I feel like that was a really big shift, is just saying, like, I don't care if I'm bad at it. Like, oh my gosh, my team calls were probably terrible looking back at it now. You know what I mean? Like, but it's okay. Like it's like you can get people to where you are, and I got a lot of people to gold and all of those things. So yeah, it was just like the switch of just going back to basics and just stepping up and being more involved, I feel like, with like my team and things like that.
I love that. Just like taking initiative of, if you didn't see it, like go create it, go do it, be that person instead of
I'm a
waiting for someone
huge
else.
I'm a huge believer in that. I've
So
always said,
good.
do not wait on me to create something. If you have something in your mind, you go create it because it's going to be
Yeah.
beautiful. It's perfect for your team. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And can you imagine, you guys, like you have a gold on your team and then you quit and then that gold goes diamond. Like that's what happened to Andrea. Like, so moral of the story, you don't ever quit, okay? Because you never
That's
know who
right.
is on your team already who's gonna go diamond.
So true.
Okay, so you shared that you stopped working your business for 6 months after going senior ruby. So you went pretty quickly, I feel like, after you hit senior gold, you went pretty quickly to senior ruby. And then you quit for 6 months. And like because of mindset things. What was it that got you going again to build to emerald? Because then you went emerald that next year, but like, yeah, talk us
Yeah.
through that.
I'm not a quitter. I was like, I am not a quitter. Like, I literally paused my business for 6 months because I let, again, imposter syndrome take the best, like, take over. I like self-sabotaged again. And like, I just want to tell you guys, like, it's a journey. It is a journey that you're constantly working on your mindset. Don't quit on your worst day. I know that's such like a cliche saying, but it's so true. And that's what I did. I didn't quit, but I just took a break. And I was like, kept saying, like, is this for me? Like, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? That was those were just validations that I was telling myself to make myself feel better about the work that I was not doing, right? Like the hard things, right? When it got hard in my business, and I always say this, like, Plexus is the only thing that I've ever stuck to in my life, in my entire life. Like I would always in college, could not stand college. I would always just take the easiest class, like just skid by with everything. Like if it was hard, I'd be like, nah, I don't really want to do it. I was just literally just scooting by with everything. And this is the only thing that I am motherhood. This is the only thing that I have truly like dug my heels in and stuck with, even when it felt super hard. And those 6 months were just like a true reflection of like, okay, what do you want? Sorry, my kids are being crazy upstairs if you can hear them. But I was like, what do you really want? Like, do you want to continue to do this? Because I told myself, I was like, you either dive in or you completely quit. Like you're not, there's no like lukewarm here because I tell my team this too. Like you either want to do it and you dive in and you figure it out, or you just quit and enjoy the time that instead of stressing over it, right? I mean, it's black and white in that aspect because you can have a gray area in your business of the figuring it out part, but you have to be committed to figuring it out. And so that was where I was like, okay, I'm committed to figuring this out. And turns out it was truly just a bunch of mindset stuff. And I just decided to rally my team back up. I came back in and I was like, hey guys, like, I'm like, listen, this is what happened. And I told him, I was super honest with him. And, I want you guys to also know this, that your team is probably not thinking like, wow, like she sucks, blah, blah, blah. They're probably thinking, my team was like, we missed you. Like we, like, whatever, it's like, don't let your mind tell you these false thoughts, right? And so anyways, we rallied the troops and that's when I was like, okay, like luckily I had my points were still pretty good. They were like 650, I think. And so I was like, all right, like my goal is to be emerald. Like that is it. Like I'm going to prove to myself that I can do that. And then do you mean just tell the whole point
Yeah,
to
like tell us like just well, really quick, I wanted to comment on something about the sponsor thing of like, I feel like there's never a point in your business where you don't need your sponsor. Like, it's always so nice to have, but also at the same time, like, you don't have to have them to be successful. So it's like what you said, like, your team's not over there like, oh man, like, she sucks or whatever. Like, you
Yeah.
can come back and your team is going to be so happy that you're back or whatever. Like, I feel like there's always something I can use from my sponsor, like encouragement or whatever. Like, I never like arrive. So anyway, I just wanted to comment on that. But yeah, share with us about go after you went Emerald, because this is probably my favorite part of your story of like you went to Emerald and then she fell back to 600 points. So she hit 1500 points. Like it's like this back and forth. It's like I
I'm a
shared this
people.
reel with my team earlier of this, like, it was like the road to success or whatever. And it's like this guy, like one step back up, like three steps backwards. And he like keeps falling and getting up and falling, going a little bit further. And like, so your story, but you went Emerald and then you fell back to 600 points. Like when you rebuilt, because obviously you're a diamond. And so like when you rebuilt, like what did 80% of your time working your business look like?
Yeah. So really quick, I'm doing a book study after this on the slight edge, and like chapters 1 and 2. If you guys have not read it, it's amazing. But it's basically what I needed to learn way back then is doing the mundane things in your business without the immediate result is what's going to get you to that rank or those points. Doing those actions that you're not going to see. You might not see the fruit of it for a few months, but just knowing that it's going to be there. That's what I did. I didn't have a lot of stickability back then. And so anyways, yes, I went Emerald, and like I said, from senior Ruby to Emerald, I gathered the troops. And, up until then, I didn't really build a solid team. I didn't have the culture, I just felt like I was lacking that. I was lacking the caring part about my team. Not that I didn't care about them, but like you really know how, as you go on, to really lean in and support your team. And I flew in on Fast Start Gold and then sat there for 11 months. But then, like you said, I went Senior Gold, Ruby, and Senior Ruby consecutively. And then a whole year later went Emerald. And so I just felt like I was just like a dog drinking out of like a water hose. It was just like nothing was ever set in stone of like, this is a system, this is how you do it, and blah, blah, blah. So when I went Emerald, I remember sitting down at my kitchen table and like, I'm like, okay, we got to create a system. Like if I'm going to go Emerald, I got to create a system, and don't let that scare you. Joanna has a beautiful system. Honestly, ours are very similar. But so honestly, guys, if you feel like your business is like whatever, plug back into the system, like use the system. And if you are like, it's not working, I bet you're not doing one step. There might be one thing that you're avoiding. Maybe that's getting on the phone with someone. Maybe that is the follow-up system, checking in with them, all those things. Like if you're skipping one step, that's probably why it's not working. And so anyways, I made a system. We went Emerald. I slid back because guess what? I didn't have that culture, and those people didn't have the stickability, right? And so that was really tough. And then that was the year before that. That was when my sponsor completely just dipped out. And so I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm like back at basically square one. And I'm like, okay, we can do this. Like I wasn't upset. I wasn't mad. I was like, we can do this. Like I've done it once. I can do it again. And I honestly wanted to do it again with like fresh eyes and like a new team. So I could practice what I've learned on this new team. And so I had two girls that are still with me, my Emerald and Sapphire, and they have been with me literally almost since day one. And I was like, all right, girls, like, we're going to do this. I'm like, here we go, like, what are we going to do? So it was just us on team calls, you guys. Like we had like 5 people on team calls, like we're on there every Monday night. We're on there just talking and talking and talking over and over and over. And now they've grown, to obviously more than 5 people, but it's like, we just kept doing those things. And so I feel like the mindset, what did you ask me? Sorry. What did you ask me?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking a lot. It's okay. It was basically, what did 80% of your time look like when you were working to rebuild back to Emerald when you fell back?
Okay. Let me tell you guys the biggest secret. You guys want to know? One-on-one Zooms with your team. Getting on one-on-one Zooms with your team. I don't care if you have one person on your team. I don't care if you're the only one working, ask for a Zoom for your sponsor. Doing those one-on-one Zooms, map yourself out. That was a big thing that we started doing, was mapping ourselves out for the month. Like, how are you going to get to that rank? How many people do you need? Who are you working with? That way you can see a clear vision of what your month looks like. And so I was getting on, my week was full of just like one-on-one team or one-on-one coaching calls, helping them with their map, them sharing their map with me writing it down, had a big whiteboard. I would do big team countdowns, like say like 5 girls were going to go gold. I would have their name with like the, 6 points, 5 points back then, 5 all the way to 100. And every time they would like get a point, I would cross it out, share it in the team chat, just a ton of recognition. Doubling down on my IPA, honestly. I know that sounds like, I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, what is IPA? But I have literally narrowed it down to sending new messages, inviting to events, following up, making your post. Don't make it so difficult, right? Just if you do those small actions every single day, you are going to connecting messages. Those are huge. Like those are the things that I did. Just a lot of like, just I tried to really pour into the people that were there with me and then focus on my own business. I always work my own business, even to this day, before I go into working with my team, because I want to be able to give some kind of feedback to them or some kind of experience that I've had from that day, a message that's worked, all those things. And I want to make sure I get my work in too. So yeah, that's exactly what
No,
I would.
I love that. It's like the simple daily actions. It's not like complicated. It's not a big secret. And yeah, I love the one-on-one Zoom thing though, of like helping them map out their goals. That's so good. Um, okay, so what does your daily schedule look like now as a mom of four? Your husband working full time, like with Plexus work, family hours, like kind of like how do you fit in your Plexus work basically? Do you time block? Do you just kind of schedule out the day before? Do you wing it? What do you do?
It's a little mix of both. So, I won't lie, we have a nanny that comes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that helps me out from 7:30 because I had decided to homeschool my 6-year-old this year. And so just wanted to throw that in too, to be crazy. But that's the blessing of Plexus is being able to do that. And I don't feel guilty. I never had mom guilt because her coming to help me with my 3-year-old or almost 3-year-old really helps me to be able to be present with Wes when I homeschool. And then after that, I go and do my work. So then I will leave, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I go and I spend like 2-ish hours doing Plexus. And then the rest I can go do whatever, go to Target, do whatever I want to do. So I have to go pick up my other middle son. I have 4 boys. So, doing all that. But yeah, it's like mostly that time. If so say today she wasn't here. So it looked a lot like went at nap time. I for Banks's nap time. He's my 2-year-old. So I did put him down, and Wes did homeschool next to me, and I did work. I think that you have to be flexible, right? Like you have to have an idea. I always look at my week and say, okay, what does my week look like? What appointments do I have? What do we have to do with co-op, things like that. And then I schedule in where I'm going to fit my work in. But of course, like if it doesn't work out, that's fine. Don't just completely, nix the day. Just send 5 messages before you go to bed, right? Like I always tell my team, like one message is better than no message, right? And you don't have to feel defeated. I used to feel so defeated if I like if my day didn't go perfect and I didn't get my IPA in right when I said I was going to, I would just completely call it a wash. But now I just encourage them, send 1 message before you go to bed, send 5 messages, whatever it is, make a post, like just do one thing, one needle moving activity, and then you'll do better the next day, right? You'll be able to maybe have a clear view of like what went wrong the day before, or maybe it was something you couldn't help. But one of my biggest things is like don't be so hard on yourself, because when you're hard on yourself you get burnout, and then you start to have all of these thoughts in your head of I'm not good enough, this is not for me. But just take it day by day to do one thing that can move the needle forward.
So good. I love that so much. Okay. Lastly, last question. And I'm gonna nurse my baby so he doesn't cry. Um, is your top 2 tips? You probably, who knows, shared it with all the awesome, tips you've already shared, but what would you say are your top 2 tips for someone wanting to become a jewel? Which I feel like everyone on this team call who's not a jewel yet
Yeah.
does want to be. So
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your chat. Your chat looks amazing. Gosh, you guys can do this. Probably well, my first tip is stop searching for the magic sauce, because there's no magic sauce. There's no magic formula that is going to get you to be emerald. Okay. It's going to be exactly because I used to think like, okay, when I get into that jewelry, like there's going to be so many secret things in there that's going to get me to there. It's not, it's doing the basics. It's doing the things that Joanna is teaching you and training on. It's being a good listener and taking into action everything that's offered, right? Like if there's a challenge, invite to the challenge. If there's a opportunity call, invite to the opportunity call. Like those things, like being very engaged in your business, but also not looking left, not looking right, just putting your head down, doing what you know, makes you feel good about your business, because it doesn't matter what's working for this team, it might not work for you. And that's like one of the biggest things that I've learned is I used to like try everything and then it would just lead me back to square one. And then I just finally found my own groove and found out what worked for me. And so I would say don't compare. That's probably one of my top tips. And my second is continue this business even when you want to quit. I promise you, because you will find someone. Don't wish for a business builder, go be your own business builder, right? I always say that, like, go be your own business builder. If you want, my biggest pet peeve is when my team comes to me and says, I just want a business builder. I'm like, are you doing business building activities yourself? Like, do you even know how to do that right now? Like, if you're wanting a business builder, are you being a business builder? So do those things, right? Because when you start showing up, it's going to inspire your team, and stick with it. You guys, stick with this, because you never know when someone is going to be coming to you the next day. The day you quit, that next person that next day could be coming to you being like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. I cannot tell you how many times I've just been like, ugh, like this is sucks. Like, it's real, it's true. But I will tell you, if I did not stick with this for almost 9 years next month, I would not be able to have someone come and help me with the babies. Build my house. I built this house because of Plexus, like our dream home. I built this house from scratch, like custom, because of Plexus. This is where like, this is just like our little dream home, family home for 4 boys. Like, we live and breathe this house. It's like such a blessing to us. We get to travel a ton because of Plexus. We get to give back a ton, which is something that's really important to me. I used to be really quick. I used to be the person that would go through and be at the grocery store and my credit card would decline, and all of those things. It's like having that extra money, and you don't have to make diamond money to be grateful for what you make in Plexus, right? My first like $100, I mean, that $1,000 was super nice, but that first $100, I was like, oh my gosh, I can fill up my gas tank. Like, I was the girl who would like put 20 in and be like, okay, hopefully it gets me to here and there. Like, I gotta also like go to the grocery store and hopefully my card doesn't decline. But it's like those little things. Um, get really clear on your why. I know everyone says that, but it doesn't have to be to retire your husband or a beach house or a Louis Vuitton bag. If those are your things, that's cool. But mine truly was just to, like, now that I'm a mom, never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I had my son, and that's when I really started to work Plexus. But now it's just to buy them the really awesome snacks that they want, the healthy snacks, the healthy foods that we like. I love to go to Whole Foods, y'all. It's my guilty pleasure. But it's like I don't even have to stress about it anymore, I can just go, let them pick out the things, and we're done, right? It's like not even the fancy things, right? It's just they're expensive, kids are expensive. So it's just having those things, or being able to, go travel for a weekend with my husband or something like that. But just get really solid on your why and why you're here. And it doesn't have to be something that you hear often. It can be something so small. I tell my team all the time, like, you can have a different why every single week. Whatever is going to motivate you to push harder. It could be to pay a bill. It could be a private school. It could be, I don't even know, whatever it may be, but just be super clear on your why.
Oh, I loved it so much, all of that. Thank you so much, Andrea. Is it Andrea or Andrea? I feel like I say it
It's either. It's Andrea,
both
but you can
times. Okay, it's
call me,
Andrea.
yeah, you can call me Andrea. It's very fancy. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So good. And like goals to have a nanny come in and like help out as you like run your businesses. That's and homeschool. And you guys, she built all the way, like she didn't have that in the beginning. And that's something that she worked towards. And so I love the vision that you casted of what's possible. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
And that's all we have tonight, you guys. Thanks for hopping on. Have a great rest of your night, and I will draw a winner. We had almost 35 on. We had 33. So I'm going to draw a winner to win this
they
cute
deserve
hat.
it. You guys got this. You can be Emerald, Ruby, Senior Ruby. You guys have got this. You have a great leader, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all later.
Bye, girl.
Bye.